Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to the official MSA National Podcast. This is your brother Subhan, and today I am so humbled and honored to have our brother Youssef Mekawy. MashaAllah, brother Youssef is the founder of Ummah Career Lab. He's a career coach, a human resources management training professional, an educator, and even a TEDx speaker, mashallah. We're going to dive deep into Brother Yusuf's background and all the amazing things that he's doing. Without further ado, I'm so excited, humbled, and honored to have Brother Yusuf on the show. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Yusuf. How are you doing today?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brother Subhan, I appreciate your time and I am doing well. Thank you for asking. It's a pleasure and honor to be here as well.
Of course, Alhamdulillah. So, for those of you listening for the first time, Brother Yusuf and I actually met by chance, subhanAllah, by Allah's qadr, at the MSA National Conference in Chicago. And I guess prior to the show, we come to find out that we've been living, at least for 6 years of his time, maybe 15 minutes away from each other for so long, subhanAllah. So, I
Subhanallah.
think with that, Brother Yusuf, it'd be really cool to just know a little bit. So you've obviously been traveling, Kansas City now, you said Egypt, like all these beautiful things. I think it'd be really cool for our audience, inshallah, just to kind of get a glimpse of what have you been doing, kind of like your upbringings and, how and all that good stuff about yourself.
Yes, by all means. Again, thank you for having me. It's an honor and it's a pleasure to be here and be a resource for our community, especially our younger youth in the Muslim Ummah in the colleges. نسأل الله العلي العظيم أن يستخدمنا ولا يستبدلنا. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to use us towards the success of His Ummah and not replace us. Allahumma ameen. A little bit about my background. I actually grew up in Egypt myself as part of Al Azhar system since kindergarten. Very thankful for my parents for this favor. And then went to Al Azhar University as well, studying simultaneous translation, Arabic, English, English, Arabic with a minor in French. Je parle français un peu. Don't try to test my French because I only speak a little bit of French. um, and so I graduated with this degree, and then I transitioned here in 2013 in the US in Naperville, Illinois, not too far from Chicago, downtown Chicago. And this is where actually me and Subhan were kind of in the same area, but I don't think we have crossed paths. We might have been in same rooms multiple times and didn't know about it. But Subhanallah, the qadar of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, years later we meet again. Yeah, so I studied at North Central College, my second bachelor's degree in human resources management and communication, and then um, did a master's degree, Master of Business Administration, with a focus on organizational development. That was from North Central College in Naperville, Illinois. Um, and I actually started the MSA at North Central College. That was back in 2017, and they are going strong right now. And I'm very proud of the work that they are doing. Um, so this is a little bit about my education. I have been in the da'wah work as well. I worked as an assistant imam in Iowa for a little bit. I worked as a youth director in a local Islamic center here in North Kansas City for a while. So I'm very active in the da'wah work here in the community as well. And then, as part of my professional career, I'm a career coach. So I have been working in different colleges and universities for almost 6 years now. Worked at my alma mater, North Central College, for some time. Then transitioned to work as part of the Chicago Booth School of Business, as part of the MBA office, part-time MBA and evening MBA in the Gleacher Center downtown Chicago. From there, worked in the Career Services office at a community college up in northern Iowa. You might ask what made you go from Chicago all the way to Iowa. That's where my wife is from. That's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
You get dragged somewhere you were not expecting. But Alhamdulillah, this is the qadar of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And not a big fan of how quiet and not as active some of the communities. I don't wanna blame all the communities, but mashallah, because there is some active communities in Iowa. Um, but hey, Alhamdulillah, I love my wife, I love her family, and thanking Allah Subhanahu wa Taala for giving me that rizq. Um, So I work there in a community college as in the career services office, and right now I'm working as the career coach at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. This is my full-time job, and I'm the liaison career coach for the School of Science and Engineering here at this university. So this is a quick snapshot of who I am and my upbringing, my professional background, my involvement in the da'wah, and all of this. Yeah.
No, no, Jazakallah khair. That's amazing, mashallah. You've been everywhere and you're doing so many great things. And I'm so excited personally, but I think I'm so excited for those listening because a lot of our students here or who are listening, they may be in college right now. They may even be alumni. And I think this topic about careers and things of that sort is so applicable for, as I'm sure you can attest to people in so many different phases of their lives, inshallah. And, I really hope that whoever's listening to this can truly benefit and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept and put barakah and what we discuss about. So, mashallah, you've been talking about, what you're currently doing. You've been a career coach for 6 years and things of that sort. You've also been a youth coordinator and assistant imam, mashallah, doing all these things. So it's so cool because, and I'll let you kind of share how this started. But when we met, you obviously mentioned Ummah Career Lab, and that kind of sounds like a blend of taking what you're doing professionally, but also obviously what you've been doing, in the Islamic field. How did you combine the two? And I would love to learn about a little bit about that story and why you felt the need to do so as well.
Yeah, this is a wonderful question. Thank you for asking this. Ummah Career Lab, I started Ummah Career Lab in the beginning of 2023. That has been a dream of mine for a while, and it has been in preparation for a while as well, in terms of kind of blending the topics together. So I saw the need from my communication and connection with the students on campus, MSAs, and also the youth on the masjid, right? A lot of us come from a first generation background, meaning that sometimes parents don't have a lot of resources or network or connections to help us understand how to navigate college life, or how to choose a career, or what is the best career for me, or what's a halal career, right? And how to navigate the shubuhat, the things that we're not so sure whether it's truly halal or not, so this is where Ummah Career started. Ummah Career Lab started. It starts to help guide the youth understand how to choose a career that's purposeful as well. A lot of the younger youth, unfortunately, gets dragged into the individualistic mindset of working for me, myself, and I, and neglecting the fact that we as an ummah, we need to work to help ourselves and support the ummah as well. So how can you choose a career that's also, connects you to the ummah and serves the ummah as well, right? Um, this is living with a purpose, right? Even in psychology, when we study psychology, our approaches as career coaches, we take it in a holistic approach. We think about it as a life design. One of my certifications that I took is from the life design lab at Stanford University, and we touch a lot on how are you connecting all the dots to connect your purpose of life to your career life, right? So can you bring your purpose of life, as us as Muslims, is to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How are you centering the choice of your career around Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and around his ibadah as well, right? And around serving that community. So this is where I combine both of those. And as I mentioned again, I saw the need from working with so many youth, even in the universities. I'm also like one of a part of my duties here at UMKC, the University of Missouri, Kansas City, is that I'm also the diversity, equity, and inclusion programming and outreach manager, meaning that I do tailored programming for a underserved populations, right? So think the Hispanic community, the African American community, right? The Muslim community is another one too, right? So how can we be understanding of the unique challenges that faces the Muslim youth when it comes to choosing their career? That's where Ummah Career Lab comes in, right? We help we help the youth in different ways. We have workshops targeted to um, high schoolers. We have workshops targeted to college students. We have workshops targeted to young professionals as well, right? Um, and these workshops could vary from I don't know what I'm doing, so we help you with a career workshop that helps you explore possible careers, understanding what is the commitment for that career. So let's say you want to be a civil engineer. What does it mean to be a civil engineer? We teach you about that. What does it mean? What is the commitment? What is the necessary academic commitment, certifications needed, licensing, all of that? w- what is expected in terms of salary, whether that to be nationwide, statewide, local statistics and data for that specific area that you're in, right? So these workshops are tailored again to help you understand the career exploration piece, to help you understand where you're going and how to achieve this goal as well. And then we have some that's tailored, of course, to college students. So then like test the waters. How do you test the waters, to make sure that this is the proper career for you, this is really the career that you want? So we think about networking, looking for jobs and internships, looking for micro internships, which is a new concept that not a lot of people think about. Internships are like smaller projects that's available for you to get some hands-on experience. Well, it's not like the 6 month commitment for an internship. um, yeah, so these workshops help you understand, the strategy for networking, for example. How do you network in your field and career? Resume building, right? Like I've met a lot of youth who are like, okay, I'm ready to jump in my career. Is your resume ready? Right? What
Hmm.
establishes that qualification, right? So not a lot of us are ready with this. Have you written a cover letter before, right? So these workshops help you with a cover letter as well. So, and how do I combine that as well? A lot of the communities that invite me is sometimes I get invited for a Jum'ah khutbah and the halaqa and the workshop, right? And it's all, I try to have a theme around it, right? So if I'm doing a khutbah, for example, most of the time I tailor it around the purpose of life. How can you choose a career that's purposeful, and at the same time, it's living between basically kun fi dunya, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, be in this dunya as a gharib, as a stranger, or abur sabil, or as a traveler, and how can you live between this hadith and the ayah that says ولا تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا, the people who were advising Qarun, you know you need to be the people were advising Qarun that you need to be mindful with the ni'mah that Allah blessed you with and not be arrogant, right? And then they said ولا تنسى نصيبك من الدنيا, be fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but then you can use the halal means to live this life in a good way, right? Not only to support yourself and support your community and support your family. This is how we get to be a strong ummah, right? So usually have more of a theme around these, halaqat and the khutbah, and then you have these wonderful workshops that could be tailored um, to the youth from different age groups.
Jazakallah khair. No, that was beautiful, Brother Yusuf. And subhanAllah, I love how, you're centering things around Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as I'm a little bit deeper into my career and things like that, it really, really makes a lot of sense. But I'm sure, when you're younger and you're seeing influencers doing this and you're seeing actors doing this and you're seeing this person doing that on social media, etc., I feel like a lot of our youth really just become money focused without really thinking of what this particular path can do to their deen. So, with that being said, since you've been doing this, whether it's workshops, one-on-ones, etc., community events, what are some of the pitfalls that you see students make, whether it's high school or college, maybe even shortly after, once they start working, when picking that career?
Yeah, this is a good question. So some of the pitfalls I would say, again, as you mentioned, following the money, and instead of trying to choose a career with a value, right? A lot of students would say, okay, what's trending right now is the IT field. I want to be in the IT field. Okay, wonderful. Where exactly would you like to be in the IT field? There's cybersecurity, there's full stack development, there is software development, there is data science, the whole data science field and data protection. There's the whole AI life. This is like a huge industry, right? So a lot of students are wanting to join that field just for the money of it, and sometimes the security, job security as well, which is again, it's all good work values to have, right? The job that you're looking for, it's okay to approach it from a perspective that okay, I want a job that pays well and I want a job that has a job security. But again, this is not the only one that has job security and it pays well, right? So this is one pitfall that I see, and I think the better way to look at it is to choose a career with a purpose. This is what's going to help you push no matter what in order for you to achieve that career, right? So if you choose, for example, to be a physician, and you want to be a physician because personally you see that you can serve the ummah in a unique way as a physician, or I don't see that there is enough pediatricians who serve the ummah with like the young kids and take care of them, to serve the Muslim community in that manner. Or as a sister, for example, you want to be an OBGYN because you understand the unique challenges that could face the sisters when it comes to connecting with OBGYN, right? So when you live a life of purpose that way, right, that helps you push through whatever it takes in order for you to achieve that. But if you are in it for the money, believe me, the first programming project that you will face, you'll be like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. If you're not really interested in kind of loving the idea of being a programmer, then you won't be taking, all of these hardships in order for you to be a programmer, right? Um, so that's why we, in the workshops or even in the one-on-ones, I advise, sometimes we take either like a psychological assessment or a personal assessment, career assessments. All of these are assessments to help you understand who you are as well, right? um, we don't take the time to reflect on who we are, what's our interests, what are we passionate about, right? um, so yeah, this is a whole cycle of getting to know yourself also, instead of just jumping on a career that doesn't suit you, right? um, we say that, slowing down and thinking and contemplating is just as productive as working hard, right? You don't want to keep working hard without a plan. As I mentioned earlier, our motto or our essential goal is for you to define your career before college, right? I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but this is really the purpose, to define your career before college. I want you to be successful in college and get a good GPA and graduate, but I don't want you to graduate with a business degree or a psychology degree or just a degree that you were advised to take, but not knowing how you connecting that degree to a career, right? The worst thing that could happen is that you walk across that stage having your degree and your cap, and you're like, wow, I graduated, I made it. What's next? Right? So when you don't know what's next, this is the worst thing that could happen. That's why my advice is always choose a career first, connect it to an academic path, choose your college that serves that academic path that will connect you to your career. So these are some of the pitfalls. Again, the money, following the money trend without focusing on a purpose, trying to work too hard and just following recommendations, or following sometimes misconceptions as well. You might have the wrong misconceptions about certain jobs, right? You might say, I want to be an accountant, but then you take that internship and you're like, I don't know if this is what I want to do, right? Yeah, so again, it's about defining what career do you want to do first, and then seeking the college and the academic path that will help you achieve that career.
Jazakallah khair. No, that's beautiful, and I can definitely attest to the passion aspect, right? Because when I first started college, I was initially a health science major, essentially trying to be a doctor. That obviously didn't work out on my end, and of course the qadr of Allah. But I've when I first started, 90% of my friends were also in that career path, and when I look at them now, 10 years later, 8 years later. It's a few handful of them who actually ended up becoming doctors, right? And obviously, it could be a variety of reasons why we initially were in that, health space to start off with. One that I can think of, at least it was pretty prevalent back then. I'd love to ask you because you're obviously dealing with the youth in the stages now. But for example, for my case, it was kind of like an expectation to be a doctor, if you will. And, that was a tough conversation when that career path obviously didn't end up going the way that, it was supposed to. But you
Yes.
deal with that expectations?
Yes, a lot, especially for what we call first generation students. First generation students are students who their parents have not achieved a college degree here in the U.S. So a lot of time you have students in terms of having their parents or their guardian kind of poses a certain expectation on them in terms of the career. I've met a lot of students, they start with a pre-med pre-med like track on college in undergrad degree, and then in their down the path do you want to be doctors and physicians and all of that, which is again it's great, but it's not great when it's imposed on you. My advice for the parents, again, please talk to your kids and get to understand what do they really want, right? And maybe connect them with a career coach like myself or anybody else. Advise them to connect with the career services in their college. Every college has a career services office, right? And you can connect with them and you get to learn what is the possibilities out there for you. There are the tools that's now, I want to say maybe like 5, 10 years ago, these tools were not available for us to understand what's out there and how to get to that career, right? So I get it. Sometimes these options or these choices are made for you as a student, but you want to try to have that conversation with your parents and have that conversation with your guardian or your family, and try to get them to understand what you want to do, right? But here's how you want to approach it. Connect with somebody in the career field, in the career services office. Connect with me, and we can have more of a plan for you, right? Instead of you saying, I don't want to be a doctor anymore, and I just want to study business, and, or sometimes the narrative I hear is just, I want to choose something that's less of a commitment. And that's okay. But this is a value that you're looking for. Therefore, you need to choose a career that matches that value, right? You don't want to commit to that long, years of commitment in order to be a physician. That's fine. Let's choose something that can help you be successful in a certain career as well. How about we can check out nursing, right? There are technical schools you can go there for 3 years. You are a nurse. How about physical therapy? Physical therapy assistant. There are technical college programs that can prepare you to be a physical therapy assistant and work in the health field as well, right? So sometimes you can still work on the same field with a different title, and you're still fulfilling a good choice for yourself. Um, and having the plan, having the exact plan and the exact alternative for your parents, this is what's going to help the conversation. And instead of you saying, I can't do this because I'm not willing to commit, right? Again, we need to understand that, a lot of our parents, I myself, I'm an immigrant myself, right? So my parents are back home, and I see that firsthand, the amount of struggle I faced not only in the system but also in the ground, trying to figure out the system for myself. I'm also in a system that speaks my second language, so the amount of struggle that we face as immigrants in the first place, we want our first generation to be in a better place. That connects to a lot of things, like us as immigrants that sometimes also come from a collectivistic mindset. you know the way that you're going to be successful is going to honor me and honor my family as well. It's not just going to honor or disgrace. It's always a conversation about honor and disgrace. You're going to disgrace us. What are you doing, right? But it's not the way the parents think about it. They think from a collectivistic mindset. Whatever you do is going to be attached to all of us as a family, right? So how can you bring another choice, another alternative, right? That suits who you are and what you want, suits your interests and suits your passion, but at the same time have a plan. This is what it looks like. I'm interested in nursing instead of being a physician, or I'm interested in being a dentist hygienist instead of being a dentist, right? And this is what the path looking like. This is how much it pays if you're looking about payment. This is how much growth it's expected to grow in the nationally or statewide, so they understand that this job still a good prestige, this job still pays good, this job still also there's security in that job and easy for me to find the job as well, right? So this is, I think, the best way to navigate this conversation.
Jazakallah khair. And I'd love to kind of share a reflection, because one of the key words that you mentioned right now is passion. And as you're speaking, I'm just envisioning myself, 8, 9 years ago when I was in college. And, I was in that boat because I was supposed to be a doctor and I had to have some difficult conversations to obviously switch that career path to more of a business career path. But what really helped is the passion that I showed to business and other things. So when I was in college, I would make a lot of YouTube videos. And at that time, YouTube wasn't viewed as what it is now. As people have careers and all that type of stuff in that niche now. But back then, it was a very, very just anomaly, if you will. But I had a lot of passion in it. And while I would obviously focus on my college, I would also focus on that. And I think it was evident on my family to see not only the passion that I had with that YouTube career, but at the same time, they saw opportunities come about from that. Whether I'm getting invited somewhere, doing this, doing that. And I think that went a long way to obviously make that shift and transition to a different career path easier instead of me just saying, I want to switch or something like that. And that's just something that helped me. But Brother Yusuf, I wanted to, before we conclude, inshallah, we obviously talked from a high school slash college perspective. You even touched and shed light from a parent's perspective. Now I kind of want to delve as we conclude from maybe a career perspective, maybe from an alumni perspective, obviously, right? So now someone
Mhm.
is in their careers. Maybe they just don't have that passion anymore. Maybe they were forced to have a career that, they ended up getting, but, they just don't feel that spark, that energy, that invigoration, etc. What advice do you have for someone as they want to try to obviously navigate switching careers mid into their career?
Yeah, this is a wonderful question. I work with a lot of people in that area as well. So, as part of my position, I work with alums and I work with current students as well. And my advice is, if you feel that way, that means you need to stop and reflect in what you really want, right? So first, you need to stop and reflect on what you really want. Um, just grab a pen and paper and write, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that was very valuable in the training I took from the Life Design Lab in Stanford University is understanding what's your purpose in life and understanding your work purpose as well, right? And connecting these two dots together, right? Just ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish in life, right? And, spiritually, physically as well in this life, what are you wanting to accomplish? What do you want to accomplish as well from your work, from your career, right? How can you connect these dots? Now you can go ahead and choose something in the same industry because obviously your experience will translate pretty well, but also you can choose something in a different industry, right? There is plenty of tools that you can use to go ahead and understand, what's that possible career looking like for you. Can I just take a certification and transition to that new career? Can I just take the licensing exam and transition to that other career? Or do I need to commit to another, another degree or whatnot, right? Usually there's always an option that combines your background. I'll give you an example. For example, we have the field of biomedical engineering, right? Let's say you are a mechanical engineer, and you want to transition to work into biology and research. There is actually the field of prosthetics. So those who lose their limbs or want to have an artificial limbs, actually the bioengineers that design these pieces and help the patients have them, they have mechanical engineering background, right? So it's about really exploring the options that's available for you. And sometimes we just don't know, right? You don't know what you don't know. And you have to keep asking and having conversation with people to get to understand what's out there for you, right? I'm going to use the bioengineering again. So think, for example, somebody is a dentist, right? And they want to transition into the technology field, the IT field, right? When you go into a dentist office, you see different tools used. You see different programs that the dentists use to analyze or see your X-rays or give plans for the patients or whatnot, right? Who designs all of this? Bioengineers, specifically for dentists. and your definitely dentist experience or this dental hygienist experience will become handy, right, to join this field. So it's best that you can try to find a field that your previous experience can translate pretty well. But if you end up not finding a career, or you want to find a totally new career, let's say you are in you're a physician and you want to go into consulting, business consulting, that's completely okay. You can first understand how's that transition looking like for you, what is the commitment looking like, right, in terms of certification, degrees that you need to take, how what's your entry plan into the field, right. Again, all it takes is about, again, stop, reflect, understand what you're trying to do, where you're trying to go, and then see if there is something that you have done could be translated into that new career or not. If not, that's fine. Explore what other possibilities available and build that plan and start working on it. But also understand that that career transition comes with sacrifices, right? Sacrifices in terms of work values. So you might be working in an industry where it pays you a certain way. It might have a certain job security, right? But that's not necessarily the job that or the career that you want to do. And when you transition into that new career, it will have different values, right? It might pay more, but it might be hard for you to find a job, right? It might not be secure as a job, it might not be a growing field, right? So again, each choice that you make will have sacrifices that you need to sacrifice for it as well. So this is really my advice when it comes to the career shift piece. Um, Hopefully that helps.
So helpful, subhanallah. It's crazy, right? Because like you think the grass is greener on the other side at times, but you don't really look at all the opportunity cost, if you will, as well sometimes. And that was very powerful. SubhanAllah,
Yes.
Brother Youssef, we talked about so many different things, mashallah. We obviously cater toward current students, we cater toward parents, we cater toward those who are already working, mashallah.
Mhm.
I'd love for you, before we conclude, inshallah, to maybe give some closing advice, inshallah. And then also for people who are interested in connecting with you for coaching
Mhm.
or group settings and things like that. We'd love for you to also have that space to kind of share how they can do that.
Yes, sure thing. So, as far as closing advice, understand that كل ميسر لما خلق له. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you with a certain purpose. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a plan for you already, right? It's a matter of you taking the means possible to achieve that plan, right? Doing your best again to do this with ihsan, right? How can I choose a career that serves me the best way possible, serves my future family, and at the same time serves my community and my ummah the best way possible as well, right? And as you are navigating this journey in college and your career, there is a lot of obstacles that you're going to face. Understand that navigating that whole journey is not a linear path, right? It will take twists and turns, ups and downs. It will take you picking yourself up, and waking up early in the morning and late nights of studying, right? But at the end, it will be worth it. Here's two things that can help you along the way, right? Understand that your rizq is written already, right? Nobody can take your risk, right? This is one of the fears that, a lot of students think about. I don't know if I'll have enough money to live the certain lifestyle I'm looking for. Understand that your risk is written already. If it is in the middle of the stomach of the whale, in the middle of the ocean, it will come to you, right? If it is in the mouth of a flying bird in the top of the sky, it will come to you. It's written for you. Your risk, just drill that into your head. Your risk will come to you no matter what, right? So understand that first. It doesn't mean that you don't do the work in order for you to get the risk. It means that you just don't need to worry about that. You worry about taking the means to choose a proper career that can help you get to a good lifestyle. Of course, it should be a halal career. But at the same time, also another thing, another major fear that students sometimes, or young professionals, or the youth in general, sometimes are worried about. You go into the field, you are a Muslim, you are a minority, and you're worried about bias. You're worried about being in a team that doesn't necessarily respect your boundaries, or respect your prayer time, or Jumu'ah time, or Ramadan boundaries too. Again, I want you to understand that Islam is here to solve everything for you, right? The one thing that helps me a lot in that piece is understanding, the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. واعلم أن الأمة لو اجتمعت على أن ينفعوك بشيء لن ينفعوك إلا بشيء قد كتبه الله عليك. أو كما قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. And know that the whole ummah, the whole nation, every creation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, من لدن آدم, from Adam alayhi salam until today, if they gather to benefit you with something that Allah has not written it for you, then you will not get that benefit. And also Rasulullah goes on to say in the hadith, and if they gather to harm you in any way, and that harm was not written for you, it will not happen. So understand as you navigate in your career in college that your rizq is written. You just have to take the means to get that rizq. And number two, understand that nobody can benefit you with anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hasn't written for you, and nobody can harm you with anything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not written for you to happen. With this, inshallah, I'll kind of highlight also how people can connect with me for the MSA teams anywhere. I'm happy to come to you for a workshop, a career workshop tailored to you, to your team, and to the needs of your team. We offer workshops from career exploration workshops. So workshops that help you understand how to choose a career. Most of our, actually, all of our workshops are hands-on experience. You end up with a product. It's engaging. There is group discussions. There's presentations. It's fun. So it will be fun instead of me just talking at you the whole time. And then there's the resume writing workshop. There's the cover letter writing workshop. There is a professional etiquette workshop as well, talking about networking, talking about elevator speech, talking about navigating your career successfully. And then most of the time, the MSAs or even masajid and communities will invite me to also speak, in a halaqa, or even give a Jum'ah khutbah at the same time as well, to make it worth a while for the visit. And the way that you can request these workshops is through our website, www.ummahcareerlab.com. Ummah as in UMMAH, careerlab.com. You can just go to the workshop request form, you fill in the form, I follow up, we make the plan, we plan for everything, and we make it happen. And I'm also available for one-on-one meetings as well. Also through our website, you just choose the one-on-one appointment, you choose the time that works for you. Usually you're able to schedule a free 15-minute consultation to connect with me and see if I am fit for the services that you're asking for. And I also give you some advice and pieces of advice for the purpose of your call. And then if you're willing to meet for a virtual one-on-one or in person, if you are in the Kansas City area, then we can meet for one-on-one, and that one is paid as well. Usually I have different prices for students, and I'm willing to give discounts as well. So these are the different services that I offer, again, whether that to be one-on-one or workshops, resumes, interviewing, anything and everything related to careers for different age groups, whether it be high schoolers, college students, or even alums, as you mentioned, those who are transitioning from one career to another, or still trying to develop in the career of choice they chose earlier during their college experience. Yes.
Amazing, amazing. Jazakallah khair. That was beautiful, Brother Yusuf. Well, before we conclude, my friend, I didn't tell you about this part, but we like to do this in all our episodes, inshallah, is we just like to do a very, very fast, rapid fire round of questions, inshallah, just to learn a little bit more about you and just have a little fun way to end the episode, inshallah. So, if that's okay with you, I'll just ask
That's
quick
okay.
questions, inshallah, and then we can
Bismillah.
conclude. Bismillah, alhamdulillah. So, number one, what is your favorite food?
Favorite food, seafood.
Seafood. Okay, cool. What is number two? What is your favorite book?
Favorite book, the Quran. The more you read it, the more you learn, the more you like. You can read the same ayah, the same surah twice, and every time you learn something new. The Quran, Alhamdulillah, I was blessed to memorize the Quran since an early age, and my mom would always say, "You're not memorizing the word يحفظ." In Arabic, it means either memorize or protect. So my mom will say, أنت لا تحفظ القرآن بل القرآن يحفظك. You're not memorizing the Quran, but rather the Quran is protecting you. So definitely the Quran.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Number three, what is your favorite place to travel to and why?
Nothing feels good like home. I grew up in
Mm.
Egypt, and I would rather, come and visit. It has been a while for sure. A favorite spot in Egypt, I would say Alexandria. I grew up in Cairo, so my Cairo people might say, "Come on now, there's a big competition." But I love Alexandria. It's a beautiful city in the Mediterranean Sea. Yeah, so that will be the place. If we talk in the U.S., I love hiking and fishing, and all these fun activities as well, which is actually one of the communities I was invited to. We went on a hike and reflection uh, program as well, the same in the same that trip that I went to. So that's an option available too.
Wow, wow, mashallah, that's amazing.
Yes.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
So two more questions, inshallah. So number
Bismillah.
four, who is an influential person in your life and how have they impacted you?
Who is an influential person in my life and how did they impacted me? How have they impacted me? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. There is plenty of people, and this is going to be hard to try to choose just one person. I would say my father, rahmatullah alayhi, my father, may Allah have mercy on him. He passed away
Um,
2004, and he was known for his actions of service. He will go above and beyond to help and support people in whatever things that they could ask of him. He was known in the community to be the one who wants to help and support people uh, for khair, not expecting anything in return. So Alhamdulillah, I took that from him. Rahmatullah alayhi, he would always teach us to, do things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try to help support the community and understand that Allah subhanahu your way to help and support you as well. And I've seen this vividly in my journey as an immigrant here in the US. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put so many people that I am beyond thankful and I will never be able to return to them or pay back the service or the honor or the help and support that they have given me, or even the mentorship. I've received a lot of mentorship from a lot of people across my college years or even careers. And the payback for me was just, I would go around and talk to other students and help them without asking anything in return. Yes, definitely this is a great thing that has benefited me throughout my life. And my advice is for the younger youth, um, what goes around, what goes around comes around. Yeah, so
yeah.
you go ahead and help people, you'll find those who will help you as well.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. And now the last question, and I'm actually really excited to hear your answer to this one. I think there's been so much nasiha, and now I would love to ask this question. This is always my favorite question to ask in every episode, but if you could give your younger self some advice, what would it be?
Subhanallah. If I was to give myself an advice, what would it be? Slow down. Slow down, Yusuf. I Even in my conversation right now, I talk a little bit fast. One thing I mentioned throughout the conversation earlier today, slowing down and reflection is just as productive as
Mm,
working
mm.
hard. Sometimes we get into this cycle of, um, you know, you have to work hard, you have to prove yourself, um, but we're not necessarily working with a plan, right? And if you're not working with a plan, you're just planning for failure, right? So again, the life around us is going too fast. The technology, the phones, we always looking for instant gratification and things quickly happening and achieving results very quickly. Um, and we forget that sometimes we need to take a break and reflect, and this is something that we do during our salawat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us naturally these times to slow down and connect with our creator. Sometimes that becomes a routine too, right?
Subhanallah,
One of the
subhanallah.
scholars would even mention that we have some people who do dhikr, the dhikr of an employee. You know, subhanallah, subhanallah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. What are you saying? What is this? Is this an act of ibadah? What are you trying to do? Right? So again, sometimes we get caught in this fast life, even during our ibadat, and we don't stop and reflect about what we do, and are we really moving towards a purposeful goal, a purposeful life, and all of that. So again, just this is the advice for my younger self, and this is the advice for all of our wonderful future leaders of our community. Just take the time to stop and reflect on what you're doing, and how are you moving on about that life that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with. And yeah, hopefully that will be a great advice for you. And we all share the ajr bi'idhnillahi ta'ala.
I mean, well, Jazakallah khair, Brother Yusuf. That was beautiful. I personally learned and benefited so much, so I'm so excited for our whole community, inshallah, to listen and to benefit from this. For everyone listening, inshallah, we're obviously going to have Brother Yusuf's, website and all his contact information on. If we're posting this on Instagram, we'll tag him. If we're posting this on YouTube, you'll see the website link, etc. We'll obviously be emailing this as well, inshallah. So please, 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 we encourage all of you to connect with him, inshallah. And of course, at the same time, if you are watching this, please give this video a like, share it with your friends and family. I really think we should all share this. It's super applicable. It's almost a summer, anyways, career season, internship season, etc. So please, please, please share this with your loved ones, inshallah, friends and family. And as always, Jazakumullahu khairan, and we'll see you on the next
إياكم.
episode of the MSA National Podcast. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.